Yeah, and this is where I'll say that, yeah, thank you very much. So, Peter A., you actually have it. I don't know, man. I think you got it going the right way. YouTube is just trying to take their cut, man. But don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to say that I'm not thanking you. So, Only Him Life 88, $2 thanks. $2 super thanks from Sleek Hobbies 88. This, in fact, could be the same person. I don't know how this works. We got Jeremy Stewart again for $2, man. Definitely appreciate with that live. $5 super thanks from Mag RC. Definitely appreciate that, man. Now let's just get into the video. This Eisenhower truck came with the 0 degree things here. So these are the 0 degree deals. These right here. So these provide a centerized location for the bearings and obviously the axle shaft. And what it does is it makes it so that, obviously, instead of being a 3 degree, the back wheels are towed in. These 0 degree end caps that house the bearings where the axle and stuff, you know, rides through, or not the actual axle because the axle's in here, but the actual like spindle. You kind of call that the axle, but I still call it kind of like a spindle. So the spindle will ride straight, causing these to have, I guess, what they're saying is better traction. So instead of them being towed in, it's going to provide better, I guess, straight line traction. I'm going to see. Yeah, so that's what this episode is. So anyways, if you want to watch this episode from RC Guy Garage, dude, I'm here, and I've got another video for you. All right. Very super easy process taking off the wheel. It's the first deal. Just going to pop that off real quick. Kind of a bummer, only because these are already Loctited, but it won't matter. Not a big deal. Finding that the hex, at least on the back of these wheels, so these are the wheels from the DB Pro, and granted, the DB Pro is a way different vehicle than this one. Well, anyways, I had to go help my wife with something. What I was basically talking about is the hex depth between this wheel and the factory wheel, which this wheel's actually, I want to say it's heavier, because I really do think that this wheel is heavier than this wheel, but the only way to... Actually, this one's going to be heavier because it still has sand in it, so this doesn't count. How do I even show you? So I'm going to get the scale out. I guess that's how I can show you. Put it right here. See the numbers right there. Zeroed out. I'm going to weigh... Whoops. It looks like it's already set. I'm going to weigh this tire. It's got sand and debris in it. Coming in at 151. This one coming in at... Oh my god. Okay, well apparently it doesn't make a difference. But this wheel is bigger, but all the sand in this one made it so that it's heavier. Awesome. To just change these out, to go ahead and swap in these 0 degrees. Also get a good look at cleaned hex areas. You obviously got to take off the thing here, disc, whatever you want to call it. Got to pop out the, take the hex out of here, which is one of these. Man, look at that. It's actually a 2. So, and that is a pin. So, pull the pin out, pop the hex off. And then you can take the disc, at least you should be able to, without pulling off this. I've been able to do it before. Come on, guy. There we go. Got a little spacer right here. Doesn't make a difference which way the spacer goes. And then that makes it so you can access these 2 screws right here, which these are a 2. So undo these with this driver, just to make it that much faster. And then you can get your fingernail in there and kind of pop this in out of place here, or not, if you don't got fingernails. There we go. Pop that out of place, slide it through. You can see how I've got a fluid in there. Basically what I do is I use shock oil. So I use a shock oil. I'm just using a 70. Use the shock oil, put a couple of drips in there. It just kind of, I guess, in my mind, keeps the bearings lubricated inside and helps stop debris, possibly from getting by this. I don't believe we're getting debris by here. It's obviously entering into the case. So when you look at these, you can see the difference. I'll pop the bearing out, get a better look. So pop the bearing out. Same thing on this side. And you can see how wet it is inside. So you can even see how the bearing is centered or not centered, offset from this one. I don't know if you can see. It's just 3 degrees, but that will make a difference. These are keyed, so there is a little slot right there. So you can't screw it up putting it back in. The little notch key is right there. So I'll go ahead and install the bearings in here. And then just because I said what I said. 1, 2. 2 drops of fluid, slide my axle in. I will clean off that with the industrial grade electrical cleaner and degreaser. Moo Clean from Hobao RC. Pre-wipe it first, just to get whatever's on there. Spray a little bit right onto the rag, and then I'll clean the threads. And that way, the Loctite's gonna stick. You can see there's just a little bit of junk on there. So it just aids. And then, like I said, you got that notch down the bottom. Go ahead and slide this axle back in. Give this a little bit of a rotate. Slide that in. Now that's 0 degree. Go ahead and reinstall the screws. So I'll bring them right to the end, to right when I feel the wrench kick, and then I'll give it like a final little squeak by hand so I don't strip out the plastic. Give it another little wipe here. Good to go. Get the disc, put it at an angle, make sure your hex side is facing out. Put it in, oop, almost forgot the spacer, don't forget the spacer. Then slide the disc on. Then grab your hex, make sure that you know where the hole is. And I can see the hole is right there. So I want to line the hex up into the disc. And I usually take like a driver just to kind of help me locate the hole. So hole's located right there. Twist it a little bit, but whatever. Get the 2. Slide that in. Give it a little tiny tweak. Doesn't need to be cranked. Take some of my blue Loctite and just apply some blue Loctite right on the threads right here. Just like that's enough, it'll kind of seep down. Take my factory sand weighted wheel, throw that back on there, put the wheel nut back on, and tighten it down. Very, very easy to do. The other thing you gotta keep in mind too is the more you take these serrated wheels on and off, the more you're chewing away at this surface right here. And eventually the wheel cannot be chewed away anymore. Each time you take the wheel on and off, you're destroying the mounting surface. So I'm gonna go ahead and go after the other side. Hang out if you want or not. This side is definitely nicely Loctited. Not anymore. Oh no. Yeah, guy, you've been here before. It's twisting. You've got to be kidding me. No, that's the bad thing. Oh, dang, dude. The Loctite. Ah, crap. Alright, well, that's where the torch comes into play. Dang it. Let's see if it was enough. Got smoke. Yep, it was enough. Wow, dude. That's how bad these wheels are. Holy smokes. So obviously this is a nylock serrated. So what was happening was the actual hex was twisting inside my wheel. That's not a good scenario. You see I've got some aluminum tape on here. So the aluminum tape deal didn't work like how I had wanted it to. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. That's a shame, man. That is a shame. So I kind of did like a little jig thing here. Just a long screw washer with a nut, and then put the hex in there. And I've got the flat tip on the soldering iron, hopefully to reflatten some of these sections. Let's see if this actually works. Almost seems like I'll be better off adding plastic to it. See how that works. Oh, and while I was here, I did give the mat a little test to see if it was heat resistant, and it's not. So this is not a welding mat or a soldering mat. So don't treat it that way. Otherwise, you're going to end up with issues. So I did kind of something there. Probably would have been better if I could somehow add plastic, but whatever. So now I'm just going to go ahead and spin this section off. I think that's how I did it. Oh, no, wait a minute. What did I do? Ah, that's right. Used my wrench here. 8mm. See if this even worked. Well, the hex definitely does kind of fit in there better. More solid. That's definitely not the fix, but better than what it was. So just go like that. Yeah, it's definitely more solid in there now. Definitely would have been better if I could add plastic. I think would have made that a little bit better, but it's better than it was. So hopefully it's not going to strip out as easy as it kind of was. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a fix or not. Kind of a fix. A fake fix. That's what it is. It's a fake fix. That's good enough. So we do already have the 0 degree piece installed. Go ahead and reinstall the screws the other way, guys. Bring the driver just right to that stopping point so that I do not strip out the axle. Okay, take a little bit of the cleaner here, spray it on, and I want to wipe these threads, get them nice and clean. Get another drop of Loctite right in the end there. You can see it kind of capillary action, kind of, sort of, not really, but it drags its way by use of gravity. Get the spacer, throw the spacer on there. Take the disc, put the disc in place. The hex, make sure that that end that's got the step out or the shoulder is facing the disc. I'll locate the pin on the axle, which is right there. So I'll get that located. Prep this to stuff it right into the hole. Slide the pin into place, give it a tweak, and take the wheel, throw the wheel back on, make sure it's in the hex. Still got the Loctite on there. Just go ahead and there's still Loctite like stuff stuck on there, so it should be fine. Give it a little crank, and we should be good. Make sure I lock down Loctite, throw that back on, and literally that's it. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and this was just working on The Eisenhower truck, swapping over from the 3 degree that was a factory install to the 0 degree, these little bearing caps, whatever you want to call them. There's got to be a technical name for them, just call them bearing caps. But they're these are the 3 degree that were in from factory. I went ahead and installed the 0 degree just because right now I'm going to the speed jump spot to try to get a maximum speed out of this with the DB Pro wheels. Will the wheel repair that I did to the passenger side rear actually be a thing? Kind of should be. I did actually grab a socket and I tried to use a socket, but the socket has a slight little taper, and there's a reason for that. The taper helps you get the socket onto the nut or bolt, however you're looking at it. I'll be out ripping it up at the speed jump spot. Hopefully I'll see you there.